Hello friend and welcome back to Betta Days. I couldn't find anywhere on this shirt to clip this, so I'm just gonna hold it. Hopefully you don't mind. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some of the best tips to kind of change up your tank a little bit, maybe refresh it a little visually without being too dramatic, without it taking too much effort, without it costing a whole lot of money. Some of these can actually be done without any additional cost to yourself. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. First, just move some plants around. This is one of the easiest tricks in the book. Just move a couple of your plants around. Maybe you have some kind of free floating, maybe some on some wood that you can take off and put on another piece of wood, move some around a little bit. That's going to change it up visually for you and also for your Betta. So if you want to give him some enrichment or kind of change things up a little bit, that's a really good way to do it. And you already have those plants in your tank, so it's easy enough to do as long as they're not already rooted in that area in the substrate. This would be easier if you're just moving things around like Anubis or Java Fern, things that you wouldn't bury their roots. Number 2, add new plants. So you could get some new plants locally, you could get some plants from somebody you know, maybe you know a local fish keeper and you could trade some plants, and you can add some new ones in there. You could also buy some online, just change it up. If you don't like a certain plant that you have, you can just remove it and sell it to someone else or share it, whatever you want to do with it. Adding some new plants is a really nice way to freshen up your tank visually. Whenever I was aquascaping the tank behind me, I knew that I didn't want it to have any of the same plants that I had in here. I wanted them to be very different, so I actually just bought completely different plants. I don't have any of the plants in that tank that I have in this one. So if you have multiple tanks or you're just about to set up a new one, that's a really good thing to keep in mind. Number 3, change up the wood. If you have some driftwood in your tank, you can change it up for new driftwood. It probably wouldn't require a whole lot of effort. You could get a completely different type of wood, or you could just get some fresh pieces. My favorite place to buy driftwood is Amazon. Usually you can get about 3 or 4 random pieces for around $18, so it's not super expensive and it's a nice way to switch things up every now and then. Number 4, add up or change the rocks in your tank. If you like the rocks okay, but you've had them for a long time, well then just get a different kind of rock. You could get a different color altogether, you could get a different shape. There are so many different types of aquascaping rocks available on the market that if you're a little bit bored with what you have, just get some new and swap them out. But remember, you can keep your old rocks that you have. You don't have to throw them away, just wash them off a little bit, let them dry in the sun somewhere, and then set them away, because you can always switch them back again and play around with it as you go. Tip number 5, add a fun and interesting background to your tank. I actually have a whole video on this, on some cool and interesting background ideas for your fish tank. This can add a lot of visual interest. For example, I actually just did this recently with this tank right here. I got some of that clear window privacy cling. You can find it on Amazon, you can find it on Temu. Really, you can find it everywhere. As long just Google it up and you'll find it. It's really inexpensive, and I just cut it to size and I put it on the back of my tank. It's really neat. It gives it this stained glass look almost, but my favorite part is when the sun sets. It actually sets through that window, and so it shines through that window cling and through the water in my fish tank, and it just showers rainbows everywhere in my room. And it's also beautiful when I want to take a video of my Betta fish around that time, because those rainbows will shine on him as well. So if I get some really nice up close videos of his fins, you can see the rainbow on them. It's just gorgeous. I love it. But you don't only have to do that. If you want some other cool ideas, check out that video I made on some unique background ideas for your fish tank. Number 6, get you some indoor plant cuttings. If you don't have any of those yet, you can put some at the top of your tank. I have a video here on how to create the custom holder, the little thing that I keep at the surface that keeps everything all together and keeps it from getting down into the water. A lot of people love that video. They've loved it. I've had it out for a while, but it is really helpful, and you can just make it from supplies you likely have laying around. It's just airline tubing and then one of the connectors. It's super duper easy. If you have some houseplants in your house, you can just take some clippings off of that to put in your tank. You could also just go buy a plant from Lowe's and maybe take some clippings off of it and then set it in your tank. One thing to remember when putting houseplants in your tank is to never uproot it, wash out the dirt, and then stick the whole thing in there. A lot of times it's still gonna have some dirt in those roots and probably some of the fertilizer, and that could potentially be poisonous to your fish. It could leach out into the water, so you don't want that. Get you some nice cuttings, allow those ends to dry out for about a day after you cut them before you stick them into the water, or they'll rot. That's just a little bit of a side tip for you. But I just recently added some cuttings from one of my monsteras to the tank behind me, and I really like it. I think it is so beautiful, and it just adds a lot of nice visual interest. It also just really elevates that natural tank look, so if you're a sucker for that natural tank aesthetic like I am, you're gonna love this. And finally, this is something really fun that I discovered recently. There are so many variants of Nerite snails. It's actually crazy. So a lot of people like to have mystery snails in their tank and all that. I love Nerite snails. I don't think enough people know about Nerite snails. These things are awesome. They will not lay eggs in your tank because they only lay eggs in salt water. They do not lay eggs in fresh water, so you never have to worry about whether or not you're gonna get a female or a male snail. It doesn't matter, you don't have to worry about that. My favorite website to buy them off of is Aquatic Motif. They have a huge range, huge selection. I didn't even realize how gorgeous Nerite snails are because I'm so used to the plain black ones that they sell at most local pet stores. I didn't even realize that there's just a whole entire variety, and Aquatic Motif is a wonderful, wonderful website, not sponsored by the way. I've just purchased twice from them and they're fantastic. I highly recommend that, and it adds a lot of visual interest, adding a beautiful and vibrant snail. It also gives your Betta something to interact with as well, adds some enrichment for him. And with that, friend, we are brought to the end of this video, but before you go, if this is your first time here, consider subscribing and sticking around. This channel is chock full of information, so if you are looking to become the best Betta keeper possible, this is the place for you. Head on down to the description. I have some links there for you. I have a link to a free guide you can download right now. I also have a link to my Facebook group, the Betta Fish Forum. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to be and to make some friends and to learn a lot about Betta fish. We just hit 10,000 members. It's a wonderful place and it is growing rapidly, so I would love for you to be a part of that family. With that said, friend, you have a wonderful rest of your week or your weekend, depending on when you're watching this. God bless you, and I hope to see you in the next video.